So yesterday we discussed about the Python dictionary. It is a key value pair whereby we have the value, the key, and the value attached to each of the keys. Then different method to access element of a dictionary. We use the get method followed by the key attribute. Then we can use dot keys. We can use dict.value to get the values. Then if we need both the value and the keys, we use the for elements to print the value and the key. Then we make use of dict.items. Then we specify the key and the value. These two can be anything. You can make this one I, then X, or XY. Just make sure the same thing you have in the for loop is the same thing you have in your print statement. So today we'll be talking about Python functions. So I forgot. Someone is asking a question. So I forgot to mention a nested dictionary yesterday. We talked about nested list, whereby you can have a list inside another list, something like this. This is a list. This is a tuple. Then inside this you have a list. Inside this fourth list, we still have another list. So we can also have a nested dictionary. That is a dictionary inside another dictionary. So this is our dictionary. If you want to have another value inside of it, so we call this. Let's call this student one. Then so we can copy this. Then you have another student here, which is student 2. You can see the red line. The red line means we can't have duplicate value inside the dictionary. So I need to change this to student 2. So the name is Ola. And the school is UI. And the department is for chemistry. And the age 25. So to separate one list from the other, we make use of comma. So this is dictionary for students 2. Then we can have student 3. I said the name is Paula. And Unilag. Then department history. Page 28. So we check our dictionary. So this is the dictionary, the first students. This is like a key. The first key in the dictionary, then it has all these values from here to this place. Inside the value, we still have dictionary inside it, which is the age key, then the value for it, the department key, then the value for it, the name key, the value for it, the school key, the value for it. Then we have students. This is the second dictionary. Then we have the third one. So that's a nested dictionary. The same way you can update, you can remove, you can access each of the elements in the dictionary. So today we'll be talking about Python function. Function is just a block of code which runs when it is called or invoked. So you pass data into a function, which what you pass into Python into function is known as parameters. Then you can decide to make it return something, or you can just decide to leave it as blank. Then there are some built-in functions. For example, we have this print. We have the print function. We've been using this print since we started. This print is an inbuilt function. So it's just give us anything we put into it, for especially string values, points. You can see this, we have sum. Sum is an inbuilt function. It takes in a list of values. Let's say we have this, we know the square bracket is for list, then we have 3, 4, 5. It will give us the sum of the value in the list, no matter how many there are. So this is the sum of the values. Is that right? 3 plus 4, 7, then plus 2, 9. So these are inbuilt functions. So we can define, this function was defined, we can define our own sum. This sum we are not the one that define, is an inbuilt built-in function. So we can define our own sum too. Let's just do that. So since it's a keyword in Python, we call it something else. Let's call it add up. So to define a function in Python, a Python contains 3 things. It consists of 3 things. The first one, we have the def keyword, def. Then the name of the function. Then this colon is very, very important. It's very, very important. Then the instruction, what we want to happen, the statement we need. Let's start with the greet function, def. Then the name, this is the def keyword, def. Then the name of our function, I call it greet. So I have the parentheses, then colon. This colon is very, very important. Then enter. This place I need to put in what I want the function to do. Okay, I want the function to print hi, hello. So I've defined the function now. Let me run the code. So I have it defined. I'm not expecting any output until this stage is called function definition. Then if I want to call it, we call it calling the function or invoking the function to make it active. So I will just write my greet. Then I will put in the parentheses, just what I have here. When I define it, that's what I use to invoke it. Let me call the function now. You can see the function print hello. It prints hello for me. So there are a lot of things we can do to the function. We can modify it to print a particular name. Then we can try to include some parameters. So to include parameters, all we need to do is the same function, we try to modify it. Control V. Then name. So we want it to take in name of a person and say hello plus the name of the person. So we say name. We want it to print the name of the person for us and hello attached to it. So I define the function now. Let me call the function. So this, what I include is just one parameter. It's a single parameter. You can see this red line. It's telling me that what I just wrote is not complete yet. I need to include this parameter. So I'm going to put in name, hello, tell me you. So I put greet, then I put the parameter, tell me you. You can see, hello, tell me you. So there can be a default parameter. For example, if the person doesn't enter anything, you can just put name equals to user. And let me run this and call the function. Greet. So we can see that unlike the other time, I'm not having any red line here because I have a default value for my name here. If the user doesn't have any name, then by default it will greet the person, hello user. Let me run the code. You can see that. Are you following, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I'm
we
following.
are.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there's something we call position arguments and keyword arguments. So when we are creating the parameter here, when we are creating the parameter, whatever we have in the parentheses is known as, when we are creating the function, whatever we have in the parentheses they are known as keyword. And we can have, it can be like, we can have a function without any parameter, like what we have here, greet, no parameter. We can have a function with one parameter, this one name. Then we can have a function with many parameters, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as many as we want. Then we have positional argument and keyword argument. Let us define our sum function. We know there is something called for sum already in Python, so we name it something else. We call it add up. So we want it to add up, let's say two numbers. A, B. Let's just say 3, ABC. So the three values I have here, they are called parameters. So I want it to print A plus B plus C. So I've defined the function. I now want to call it add up. So if I put just two parameters, it won't go. Let me try to run the code. Can we see the error? Add up missing one required positional argument. So when I declare the function here, what I have in the parameter is called arguments. It's called parameters. But anytime I need the function, when I call it or invoke it, I call anything I put into the parentheses, they are called arguments. The same thing, but the time we determine what we call them, like the instance. For example, when declaring them, we call them parameter. You can see here. You can see something that pops up. We call them parameter here. Then when we want to call them or we want to invoke the function, we call them arguments. That's why I see missing one required positional argument C. So I must input 3. I can't input 2 and I can't input more than 3. Let me run the code now. So I have, what's this happening? What's happening? Oh, I have A plus B plus B instead of A plus C plus C. So I'm changing this to C. So let's run this again. So we have 12, addition of everything we have here. This is just like the sum function. This one is an inbuilt function, but we just created our own function now. So this thing are called, what we just did now, all the parameters, they are called positional parameter because the first one will be treated as A, will be anything you input first will be treated as A. The second one will be treated as B. The third one will be treated as C. That's positional argument based on their position in the argument. Then we can have keyword arguments. By that, we don't need to worry about the position of our argument. Let's say we have ABC, the same function, but when you want to call the function, we say add up, then I can say C equals to 5. Let me just use multiplication to make it more clear. A and B. So I need A times B. No, A raised to power B. Yeah. A raised to power of B. So I can, let's run it by default. I have 4 as my A. Then I want it to raise to power of 2. A raised to power 2, it should be what? What's A raised to power 2?
16.
16. Okay, let's see the output. So that's 16. So I can
64.
I can change the position. I can change the position of the argument. I can, since by default anything I enter first will be taken as my A, then the second one as my B. I can say this is my B. I can say my A equal to, then B equals to 4. Can anyone guess the output of this?
16.
16. Any other person? Let's see. 16. So it is still a raised to power 4. So I will now change this to b equals to 2, then a equals to 4. So the output of this will be what? Any idea?
15, 16. No error.
Error. Okay. Any other person? We still have 16. B is equals to 2, then A is equals to 4. Then we have A raised to power of 4. Okay. Let's try it with some. Oh, it will always be A raised to power of 4 no matter what we have there. So let's try that with, let's try the keyword argument with something else. Let's define our grid again. And we can modify this with name.
Please, I have one question, please.
What's the question?
I don't want to interrupt the class. About like, I think it should be 17, line 17 up, where you made a mistake the other time. You made a mistake to put B 2 times. Then you made a mistake when you want to put the numbers. You put 2 numbers.
This place.
Yes, this place. No, not this place. This lines 15 actually.
Okay, this when I put A plus B, right?
Yes, it's supposed to run that code because you put B 2 times. So
yes, we got an answer, but not the expected answer.
No, you didn't understand what I mean. Before you got that answer, you put 2 variables instead of 3. And the thing, it doesn't run because you put your parameters is 3 while the argument is 2, right?
Okay. Yes.
Then it's BB. The parameters is BB instead of ABC. So what I'm trying to say.
I said anything that is taken as the first parameter will be by default, it will be taken as A. That is entered as the first parameter will be taken as A. Then the second one as B.
Yes, the second one as B, the first one as A. Then
yes.
that is your argument. Then in your parameters you have A, B, B. So that means it's supposed to recognize this as A and B. That's what I'm trying to say.
I still don't get the question actually. Can you call the code? We just run it again.
Okay, just delete B out from this C, delete C and put B.
Okay. We have B now.
No, yes. not from there.
Yes, this place, this other side, the print. I mean the print side.
Okay. Must be like this.
Yeah. No, yes, something like this. Then
so
then call it and put 2 variables.
You have 8.
I can see the answer. The thing is,
this is 8.
No, what I'm saying is that instead of 3 variables, you put 2.
Okay.
7.
Now, this is my question. It's supposed to run because we are having BB. So does it take the last B as P?
It's this, whatever you have here, it doesn't matter at all. Even you can leave it blank. You can just leave it blank. You can say pass. You have nothing. You can have nothing in it. But the argument must take 3 parameters. The function must take 3 parameters.
Okay.
It's not dependent on what you have on your print statement at all.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we need to add something to this 6. So I want to tell, okay, I was on keyword arguments. So we want a function that return the name, then the class of a student. Name, comma, class. So print welcome plus name. We know the function of plus in string for concatenation plus class. Do we still remember? This plus for
Yes, sir.
concatenation
Yeah.
of string.
Yes.
Okay. Where am I having red lines? Expected. For string plus class. Let me not use class. Let me use something else. Classes. Let me add one more S. Okay. I think that's because class itself is a keyword in Python. So greet. I input the name Tunde, then the class. The class. Let me say part 4. So I run the code. So I have welcome Tunde part 4.
Why do you know space? What about the space?
That's what I will do now. I'll try to add space to the words. So we have the first space. We need the second one. Let's check this if it will work. Okay, we are good. Welcome to the part 4. So we can actually say this is our name. Our name. The first argument is name. So we can change this to class. Class equals to then name equals to. Then we change this to part 4. Part 4. Then here we have it's not running. Why? Oh, the class is class S2, S3, S. Can we see that we still have our Tunde and part 4?
Yes, sir.
So that's the function of the keyword argument. It's not dependent on the position. For example, if, as I've said earlier, normally since we have our class first, we should have welcome part 4 today. But this is a keyword argument. We specified the keyword that okay, the class we want it to be part 4, then the Tunde we want it to be the name to be Tunde. It doesn't depend on the position of the argument at all. So we can set a default value. Anybody that's refused to enter his class, automatically such a person will be in part 1. Part 1. So we will delete this. And we don't need to worry about having just single parameter here. We don't need to worry about having just one here because we have a default default value for the second parameter. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
So that's keyword argument and positional argument in Python. So we can declare a function to sum up. Oh, the difference between print and return statements. We've been using print since, but using print is not productive. The main objective of using a function is to make our code reusable. For example, let's say so we have our add up already. Add up 3 and 4. We need the addition of 3 and 4. So it gives us what's happening. Okay, we included 3 parameters, so we must have 3 arguments, 6. So we have the 6 values added up, although there was a mistake. ABC, okay. 6 plus 4 plus 3, 13. So let's try to include it in another function. 3 multiplied by add up. Who can tell me the output of this expression?
39.
39.
39.
Okay. 39. We have an error. Why? Can anyone explain why we have the error? Can anyone explain why we have the error? Any idea? So the reason why we have the error is because we use print statements. So the print statement is just like it's going to give us a string value, and it doesn't we can't reuse such a function. So we should use a return statement instead. Return is like the output of our function. Then return a plus b plus c. So I'm going to comment out this particular print line. We really don't need the print line for a function. The only thing we need is return statement, because return statement we always keep the value of our expression, like the final output. So let's try to run that same code. 3 multiplied by add up 4 3 2. What will be the output of this? 4 plus 3, that's 7. Then 9 times 3, 27. Okay. You can see the difference now. So that's the difference between a return statement and print statement. By default, it's not compulsory for your function to have any parameter. You can have a function without any parameter, just free. Then you can have a function that doesn't print anything, that doesn't return anything. But if you want to make your function reusable, for example, this is a form of reusable. We created this function already. Then we are still using it with something else. So you use return statement. If you use return statement, you only see it when you call the function. Only. You only see the print when you call the function only. You don't see it when you try to combine it with some other things like this. So that's the essence of the return statement. And function can be very, very useful. When we get to data analytics with Python, you can see how we can use function to do a wide variety of different kind of things in the analytics. So I think this is what I have for today's class. If you have questions concerning what we've done in the past, the tasks, let's say task 1, task 2, okay? You can even go through the tasks, the previous ones we did, and try to solve it together. What do you think?
Hello, sir. Hello.
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 I can hear you.
Okay. Please, is there a way at which please go back to that name? I mean the one with define the dev name. I beg. Okay, this one, read name. Okay, is there a way we can request for that person to put the name himself rather?
Yes, let's try it. So name will be
name equal to input.
Okay, continue. Input.
Yeah.
What is your name?
Okay, then what's the name? So you can say name. Okay. Let's run it and see.
Then we call the function. It's so what I just noticed, since the function takes in a parameter, we must include the name, but we want the user to enter the name. So we make it with no parameter. We declare it with no parameter. So anything that is entered by the user will be saved as name. Then we make sure we return the name back. So let's run this without any parameter now. What is your name? Today. Hello today.
So I think it's the same thing as not having the first line there. Because if you still declare it like that without the greater, I think it's still going to print it out.
What do you mean by the first line?
I mean the dev grade, the that one. Yeah.
The parameter.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Since we know we cannot define, let's just try it with the name. You know, anything we write here as our name, it will be overwritten. Let's say we write color, then we ask for the name. Now enter today, but it's not even possible. Text, okay, I need to run this line first, then the next line. So what is your name? Let's write today. What do you think will happen?
Let's try.
Invalid.
What will be the printer? Is it today or color?
Both.
Both, but like combined.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's
It
see.
will be an error.
Hello, today we have today not color. Can anyone tell me why we have that? Can anyone explain? Okay, the simple
The
explanation.
name. That's
said
the
what?
most recent.
Exactly. That's the explanation. Python runs from top to bottom. Initially, we say our name is Kola. Then we say again that okay, my name is no more Kola. My name will now be any input from the user. So Python it obeys the last command. It's taking the last value, the most recent value. So that's why we have Kola. So writing the name here is no more necessary. It's not of you. We don't need it at all. That's why I deleted the parameter before. Since we are getting the name from the user, we don't need to input the parameter. Is that fine?
All right. Yes, I am. I'm good.
Any other question? Okay, I think I have the solutions to the ATM pin yesterday we did. I think everyone understands that.
Is it possible you can
What
just
did you say?
This is I modified it before I sent the note yesterday. So this is the code. Password is whatever the user enter, then you convert to an integer. Then the real password, the correct password is 2022. Then the user has entered the password one time. We need 2 more attempts before we have this print statement. Then that's why we have for I in range 2. Then after two wrong trials, so it will tell the user you have entered wrong PIN for 3 consecutive times. Please contact your financial institution to reset your PIN. Otherwise, if the password is correct, we have access granted. Welcome to First Bank. I believe we can do the guess number game now. But let me try and enter the correct password. Access granted. Welcome to First Bank. So for the list task, just create a list food. You can name it food menu. Then equals to, you use square bracket for list. Just write anything, amala, rice. Schools. Then you now ask for the user's choice, what the person wants, equals to input. Okay, what would you like to eat? So the next thing we need, we check our list. We see that our list is in title case, meaning that the first letter is starting with a capital letter. So anything the user enters, we need to convert to title case. There are 2 ways to do that. We can do it directly from here, dot title. That's one way. Another way is to say, okay, since we have our choice, anything we have as choice should be converted to title case dot title. So you can check our choice now. It's good to do this kind of thing, to do it one by one, to do write one line, then check the output. If you are getting the expected outputs, what would you like to eat? Then I have amala. So I have my choice, amala, which is the same thing as what I have in the list. So I'm kind of good to go. The next thing is to check the list. If choice in food, that's common, and prints, okay, else. Okay, let's just go with yes. Yes. Else. Print no. So we can try to enter different choices. Yes, that means we have it in the list. And let's try it in another case. Everything, all caps, we have it in the list. Then camel case, or what do they call it? Camel case. I think the first one. And I think it's camel case. I see it has been converted to the title case we have in the list. Then if you type something that is not in the list, let's say milk, you have no. So that's about the first one. Do you have any other question? So with this, I think we've come to the end of Python for data analytics. No, Python fundamentals as we have in the outline. Let's check what we have in the outline. So starting from the next class, we'll be talking about Python libraries we use for data analytics, which is basically Python, pandas, NumPy, Seaborn, Matplotlib, the one we use to plot the different graph. We use for visualization libraries, then how to interpret the data, how to plot, how to derive insight from our data. So we are starting with that next week. So we've talked about this syntax, comment line, multi-line, variable, the int, float, string. We didn't talk about complex. It's actually complex. Then we talk about Boolean's data type, the type conversion, which is also known as casting. I discussed briefly about random, whereby you generate random integer or random real number. Then string, how to index strings, dot upper, dot swap case, string case, replace, concatenate. Concatenate is the plus we've been using. Then the next line to start something on the next line. Then Boolean comparison operator, like logical operator. This one is equal to the two of them combined. These two dots, the two of them combined, not equal to. Then we talk about arithmetic operator, where we have the division, addition, floor division, percentage, reminder, then and or. Then I talked about list, how to slice a list, how to loop through a list. You can sort your list alphabetically, you can append, you can insert, you can remove, you can pop from the list, then you can copy a list, then you can join, you can clear the list element, then you can delete the whole list, then tuple, set, then dictionary. We talked about these conditional statements. We use this for some of the assignments. Then the last one, we talked about function, parameter, and the argument. So from the next class now, we'll be talking about NumPy. NumPy simply means numeric Python. We use it for mathematical calculation. Then we have pandas. Pandas is used for data frame manipulation, tables, rows, then how to read files. You want to read an Excel file, you want to read data from a website, you want to write to CSV, you want to write to a website. Then how to deal with data, time series data. By default, mostly when you have time, you have a column in your data set as dates. By default, most time it is always in string. So you need to convert it to date time series. Then after that, you can extract the day, the month, the time of the day, the transaction, maybe it's a transaction data type, the transaction was carried out. Then how to combine multiple data sets, join, merge, concatenate, group by. Then we'll not be talking about scientific Python. Then we talk about visualization libraries, the matplotlib, the seaborn, different kind of plots. We have the pie charts, bar chart, pie chart lines, line plots, scatter plots, histogram, how to customize your plots, the label, the title, the how to reduce or increase the figure size, then how to clean and pre-process your data. So those are the things we'll be talking about in the next class. This project idea, we've done some of them. We did this menu. I've just asked for the choice of the number. Oh, we should work on this BMI calculator or work converter. Can we still do any of these two? Hello.
Yes, sir. We will do.
Okay, let's
Yes, sir.
let's quickly do that. We call it. I will do one. You will do the other one as assignments. Weight converter. The name of our function is weight converter. And if you take in the parameter weight, we know by the mostly used unit for weight is what?
Kilogram.
Kilogram. So we need to convert to something else. What can we convert it to?
Gram.
Gram. So how do we do that?
Divide by 1,000.
Divided by 1,000. Right?
Yes, sir.
And let's just ask for the user to enter their weights.
Input weight.
And we need to specify that we are asking in kilogram. So return your weight. This is just like a print statement. Your weight is, you don't need to use this print state to use the string.
If we are converting to gram, it should be multiplied by 1,000.
Okay. Multiply by 1,000. So simply just ask the person to enter their weights. And let me run the code. What is your weight? Let's say 68. Then it gives us the, what is this? Sixty-eight multiplied by 1,000. Is it the real value? Oh, who can tell me what is happening? Any idea?
We
What?
didn't change to integer.
Exactly. So it sees this weight as a string value, then it's printed for us 1,000 times. That's why we have this. Even it is, we can see the 3 line now, meaning that we still have a lot of the 68. So I need to change this to integer.
Can we do float instead, since people's weights can come in points?
Okay. I'm coming, please. So we have let's enter our 68. So we have the weight in gram as 68,000. So we are talking about floats
Yes.
like this, right?
Yes.
Yes, so it can take point values.
6.8. Yeah. So that's the weight converter. To this, the other one, BMI calculator, is you define the function, then it will take in two parameters. You can do it two ways. Either you specify that you need two parameters. You specify the two parameters. The first one will be the height. The second one will be the weight. Then you ask the function to return what is BMI? Is it height times weight or something times something divided by 1,000? Any idea, please? BMI.
Weight divided by height square.
So there are two ways. The one, you can say your weight equals to inputs. You allow the user to input their weight, then you say height equals to input again. Then you say return weights divided by height, then squared, right? So you return something like this. And you must be very careful with this arithmetic operator. For example, if you want everything to be calculated first, these two, then you put them in parentheses. Otherwise, if you leave it just plain like that, it can start with height multiplied by 2, then weight divided by the result of these two combined. So if you need a specific output, you must take the parentheses into consideration. I believe that's something we can do, everyone.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
we are going to end the class here.
But I think the height is the one that has the square, not like both of them.
Yeah, you can just check it online. BMI calculator. Check the equation for it and put it into our return function.
Okay.
Return statements. We don't have any other question. In the absence of the question, I'm going to stop the class, and we can now fill the attendance sheets. Okay, someone asked a question in the. Oh, I'm just seeing. What's the difference with just writing print hello to me? Okay, if you say print hello to me, that means the name is fixed. If some other person, let's say you have different students, then if someone else writes his name, it's not going to bring such person's name. It's going to bring Timmy instead. It's going to bring out Timmy instead. I don't know if you understand the answer. Like if the answer is correct, like it's something you are. If I get the question right.
I can't see your screens. Yes.
Do you have access to the sheet? Like, can we edit now? Hello, can we edit these sheets?
Not seeing the screen,
No, we
sir.
can't.
I stopped sharing my screen.
No,
All right.
we can't edit this sheet yet.